All right, good evening and welcome to the February 5th, 2026 Parks and Community Enrichment Commission meeting. The meeting is now called to order. Clerk, will you please call the roll to establish a quorum?
Thank you, Chair. Commissioner Langer? Commissioner Yerby?
Here.
Commissioner Robbins?
Present.
Commissioner Labor?
Here.
Commissioner King?
Here.
Chair Gaines?
Here.
Commissioner Vasquez?
Here.
Commissioner Flores?
Here.
Commissioner Lang?
Here.
And Commissioner Boone? Absent. Thank you. We have a quorum.
Thank you. So I would like to remind members of the public in chambers that if you would like to speak on an agenda item, to please turn in a speaker slip before the item begins. And after the item is called, we will no longer accept speaker slips. You will have 2 minutes to speak once you are called on. And we will now proceed with today's agenda. So first, we are going to start with the land acknowledgement and the Pledge of Allegiance. So if you will please rise. So this opening acknowledgement is in honor of Sacramento's indigenous people and tribal lands. So to the original people of this land, the Nisenan people, the Southern Maidu, Valley and Plains Miwok, Patwin Wintun peoples, and the people of the Wilton Rancheria, Sacramento's only federally recognized tribe. May we acknowledge and honor the Native people who came before us and still walk beside us today on these ancestral lands by choosing to gather together today in the active practice of acknowledgement and appreciation for Sacramento's indigenous peoples, history, contributions, and lives. Miigwech, thank you. Please remain standing for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. You may be seated. All right, so up next is approval of the consent calendar. Clerk, are there any members of the public who wish to speak on the consent calendar?
Thank you, Chair. I have no speakers for this item.
All right, are there any commissioners who would like to speak on this item? All right, seeing none. Is there a motion and a second for the consent calendar?
I motion.
All right, so we have a motion from Commissioner Robbins and a second from Commissioner Laver. All in favor of passing the consent calendar, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Abstain? All right, the motion passes. All right, so before we jump into the discussion calendar, we have a new commissioner who I'm excited to introduce. Commissioner Lang is our new mayoral commissioner. So I'd love for you to introduce yourself.
Absolutely. Hello, fellow commissioners. Really excited to be here. My name is Colin Lang. I am a resident of District 5, on the border of District 6. I grew up in Maryland. I moved to California about 12 years ago, and I've lived in Sacramento for almost 7 years now. I work down on P Street with the Office of Energy Infrastructure Safety, and I do vegetation management work for them and look at utility-caused wildfire risk. And before that, my love was in land management and volunteerism, and I worked for the Park Service for many years, as well as a couple of other land management agencies around the Bay Area. And I led volunteer groups doing native plant restoration in lots of beautiful places. So I'm excited to be here, and I'm looking forward to what we can accomplish together.
Excellent, thank you so much. We're super excited to have you as part of the commission. All right, and then one more quick little announcement. So I just wanted to say thank you. I was not here last month when you guys reelected me as chair. So just thank you guys so much. I appreciate that and your guys' belief in me, and I know that this next year will be fantastic. So I wanted to say thank you before we move on. So thank you so much. All right, and now we're going to get into the meat of it. So First up is the Volunteer Recognition Program update. Do we have a staff presentation for this item?
Yes. It is.
Okay, well then, just kidding, according to this, we'll go with expanded learning first. I just have this.
Me here. My name is Joyce Winger Johnson, and I am the Recreation Superintendent in Expanded Learning. I oversee our Sacramento START program, our 4th R program, and our Summer Oasis in the Parks program. So I just wanted to give you kind of a quick overview on the 3 programs that I oversee. So Sacramento START this year is celebrating its 30-year anniversary. Sacramento START stands for Students Today, Achieving Results Tomorrow. It's been opening its doors for students across Sacramento, creating safe and supportive spaces where children are inspired to dream, explore, and grow. Guided by our dedicated and passionate staff, our programming nurtures the whole child, engaging hearts, minds, and bodies, and empowers the students to discover their potential and builds futures filled with purposes, possibility, and choice. We are located in the Robles School District. We operate the ACES grant at 5 different locations, and all 5 of those locations are filled with their grant capacity and have active waiting lists. Our key achievements in aligning with our YPSI strategic goals is to continuing our community relationships, strengthening the partnerships within our schools and community organization and volunteers. Additionally, skill building is one of those to increase our leadership, workforce development, and wellness, and supporting the youth development, expanding inclusive programs for and supporting our youth and special needs and family support. In partnering with the START program, I just wanted to give a shout out to a couple of our special collaborations with 7-Eleven, SAC PD, Food Literacy, United Way, Playworks, Girl Scouts, Running for Rhett, Sacramento Food Bank, and 4-H, which has made our program grow in those programming aspects. Our 4th R program is excited to celebrate our 40th anniversary this year. So since 1986, 4th R has been trusted place within TK for 6th grade for kids to learn, play, and grow in Sacramento County. For 4 decades, our wonderful staff have created a safe, welcoming, and recreation-based environment where children build confidence, friendships, and lifelong memories, making lasting impact on generation and families. Save the date for June 6th at North Natomas. We are going to be doing our anniversary party. We will have games, swimming, celebrations, a dunk tank. So if you are interested in being in the dunk tank, raise your hand or email me. We'd love to have you a part of that. Who are you going to, or you can just call out somebody and we can invite them. All right, let's do it. I just wanted to ask quickly, does anybody know what 4th R and why it's called 4th R? What the R stands for?
I took a stab with the R being recreation.
It is. So there was an old saying, reading, writing, arithmetic, and the R was recreation. And that's kind of what our program is we're recreation-based. So we're in 17 locations around the greater Sacramento area in the Natomas School District, the Sac City School District, and the Twin Rivers School District. We're in 6 different council districts serving over 2,800 students. We want to align making sure our milestones with the YPSI strategic plans, that we continue our partnerships. We have new partnerships with the Natomas School District in serving their ELOP grants. Our current grant with them is 420 students. Next year, we are moving up to 660. And then we have another collaboration that we have just established with the Twin Rivers, again, expanding with their ELOP grants for an additional 100 spots at our one location, which is at Regency Park. We want to continue to support our families and youth development in creating these quarterly family nights. We've done art craft nights, we've done paint nights, bingo nights. We just had our glow party last Friday at North Natomas, Sutterville, and Coloma. That was quite the success. Again, we want to continue to promote our health and wellness, accessibility for those that we want to make sure that we have access to supports with our child action campaigns and making sure that's equitable across the board. We have partnerships that we want to continue to establish and continue to make strong within our community. Our Sacramento State, we place College Corps students at our centers. We have CHAD, which are Child, Adolescent, and Development interns that are currently their spring semester are actively engaging into our program, including our local high schools and their volunteers. Our partnerships with our local police, fire, and library, and many others that we want to make sure that we celebrate that make 4th R special. Our Summer Oasis park camps are at 2 locations, William Land Park and North Natomas. Last year, we served 120 spots at each of those camp locations. This year, we're looking to increase our capacity at those, so we try to get rid of the wait list that we have been having for the couple years. And so that is going to be one of our strong goals going forward for our Summer Oasis Camp program. So that is a quick recap of the 3 programs that I oversee. Open it up if anybody has questions.
Thank you. Clerk, are there any members of the public who would like to speak on this item?
Thank you, Chair. Yes, I have one speaker for this item. Can I please have Lambert come up, please?
Yes, one of the reasons I come here, especially to YPSI, is because of Jackie Beecham. She's done a lot of things, not just her, but other people. I can't think of this lady in the back's name, but I know who she is by her face. And I wanted to say that YPSI has done a wonderful job in the neighborhood I come from, which is Del Paso Heights. She's done some incredible outside the box. Well, YPSI, under her leadership, has done a lot of things that are admirable. And I must be committed because I'm the only one, I believe, in this audience that's not on the payroll. So I have to be here for that. Also, my family, we own a cheesecake business, and Jackie patronized us. Very few departments down here patronized us. And she patronized us in a big way. And so I wanted to say that. I also wanted to say, even if she's not here, I'm sure she's listening, that our mother's cheesecakes will be featured at the Super Bowl this weekend. Not in the Super Bowl. The day before, there's going to be an event there. And I'm going to leave we have a tremendous millennial following. I'm a baby boomer, so the millennials, children and their friends, they came up with a brilliant idea, and I'll give it to you later. The QR code, I didn't even know what that was. They came up with a QR code, and they said, and I'll explain it later, I know Jackie will be happy for us, that there's a way to go viral globally in the Bay Area. Well, being a boomer, I want to see it. I know about the cheesecake, but I want to see this global thing. But I'll explain it more later. But shout out to YPSI under her leadership.
Thank you for your comments. Chair, we have no more comments at this point.
Thank you. Thank you for your comment. I will say there are 2 people in the audience who are not on the payroll. So, but thank you so much for being here, and congratulations on your Super Bowl. All right, are there any commissioners who would like to speak on this item?
Monique Linger, I'll just say thank you so much. 2 of my 4 boys have gone through the 4th R program, my nieces and nephews, and just very aware of what these programs do for the community and just how they increase engagement and just a sense of community, both on school sites and around. So just thank you. Thank you for everything you do and your team.
Commissioner Laver?
I had a question. You mentioned 7-Eleven.
Yeah.
So what other companies, or what does 7-Eleven do, or do you get support financially from other corporations or
We
companies?
don't get support from 7-Eleven, but they are a sponsor of our backpack drive. So in August, we do a backpack giveaway for the students of Robla, and they provide backpacks and school supplies that go in the backpacks to the students.
So there's no other financing from corporations that support you?
No.
It's all like government funded, or,
It's ACES funded. It's a grant by the CDE.
okay. Thank you.
Yeah.
So I had a question. I know that there's some different like statewide networks of expanded learning groups like California After School Network and other organizations that are working on like a larger scale, especially when it comes to like advocacy around expanded learning. Is the city of Sacramento participating in any of those networks?
We do with our CDE and our grant. They do those. We're part of Region 3, and we have meetings monthly to talk about that advocacy. Yeah.
All right, well, thank you so much. It sounds like you guys are doing really great work, so thank you so
Wonderful.
much for being
Thank you.
here. All right, so that was receive and file, so we will move on to the next item in the discussion calendar, which is Volunteer in Parks VIP program. Is there a staff presentation? I see staff coming up.
There is. All right. Good evening, everyone. I'm Sarah Musser, Park Maintenance Superintendent over Citywide Services, and I'm here to talk to you about the Volunteer in Parks program. I might refer to it as VIP along the way, just so that we can kind of get through it. But I'm excited to share an update with you and what's been going on over the past year. We've seen incredible engagement from our community, and we're excited about the momentum that we have. What you're seeing here is sustained growth, not just in volunteer and hours, but in outcomes like tree plantings and diversifying our opportunities that we provide. Participation increased across every month, which signals system improvement, not luck. As the VIP program became more structured and accessible, we saw a lot more engagement, more capacity, and measurable impacts within our parks. As you'll see, some of our numbers here we're really proud of. The 122% increase, 118% increase in February and March. Those are peak tree planting times. So you see those increases there, but you can see all the months as well. We currently have over 1,000 volunteer constituents in our databases. That's not something we've had in the past. As we sit here, I've had 15 more this week signed up, so I know as you all have your plantings and YPCE continues to provide its plantings, we're getting more and more people within our constituent base that we can reach out to. And we utilize our platforms such as social media, our forums that we have here at the City Hall through Microsoft, and Better Impact. As you know, we used to use ActiveNet to help volunteer management. That system really is set up to monitor and manage recreation programs, not people. And when Jackie and Shannon, kind of spearheaded this work group idea, we needed to focus on engaging our community and making sure that the volunteers felt engaged and interested and had buy-in to come back. Part of that was increasing their experience in how they interact with us and making it easier for us as staff to engage with volunteers. As this number continues to grow, as it shows that it will, we're gonna have to have the capacity to manage and communicate and express our appreciation to these volunteers. And some of these platforms are really, really adept to do that. So I signed in this morning, and we have 10 or 15 volunteers that are celebrating birthdays this week. It just takes a click of a button and a quick happy birthday. That means so much, and this platform helps us do that. So I just wanted to take a moment to kind of slide in on that a little bit. So consistency matters to us. Our branding standards ensure that every interaction reflects our values and our mission here in YPCE and within the city. This helps us build trust and recognition across all of our touch points, from signage to digital communications, so our volunteers and partners know that they're part of something meaningful. This right here is a picture of one of the signs that's going to be replaced in our McKinley Rose Garden. It just kind of shows you the direction we're going in with some of our branding. So one of our exciting updates is our new trailer. As you see here, you may have seen it out and about. If not, you will, because it's going to be out and about. So it's going to enhance our availability and support to our volunteer activities. This investment shows that our commitment to improving resources for our teams and making volunteer work more efficient and enjoyable. To support this growth, The department's going to continue to establish clear and consistent processes for requesting volunteer events, as well as diversifying the opportunities offered. There is a very clear and distinct tree planting line, or timeline, and when that ends in April, there's still a whole heck of a lot of time left in the year that we can still engage the community, bring them into our parks, and really show them what we do as YPC. So continuing to streamline our processes is going to ensure that requests are reviewed and coordinated and routed properly. That's not just requests from community, but that's requests from you all, because we want to make sure that it aligns with our park priorities. We have proper staffing and resources and funding when it's applicable. We're hoping to offer new trainings and expand collaborations with local organizations to increase our impact citywide. And pairing accessible volunteer opportunities with internal processes, we're going to be building a sustainable model that will continue to grow and support staff capacity where we're at now, as well as in the future. And it's going to strengthen our community within our partnerships and build that trust that we hope will deliver long-lasting benefits to our Sacramento parks. So with that said, I'm happy to take questions that you may have.
Do we have any members of the public who would like to speak on this item?
Thank you, Chair. We do not.
Thank you. Vice Chair Robbins?
Yes, I just got to thank you. We were presenting our yearly work plan to City Hall a couple of weeks ago, and they're just so proud of how the volunteerism has grown and grown so much, and how adapted that the commissioners, this whole leadership team is there, and just amazing to see it grow. And just being a volunteer to a commissioner, thank you for all the hard work that you let us do. I've seen the trailer. I loved it. I was at Jefferson Park. I can't wait to do it at Garland Park coming up pretty soon on the 21st, and many more to come. So just thank you, and keep on growing the work, and go volunteerism. Love it.
Thank you, I appreciate that. And I do want to holler out a staff, I don't think he came. He didn't. Dennis Harris, who you all know. If you don't, you will know. Dennis. I'm sure he's listening. If he's not, I will timestamp this and he can go back to it. But Dennis Harris is our volunteer coordinator. He is the man. So big shout out to him and Sean for all of their support. Thank you, Robbie.
Commissioner Lever?
I had a quick question. On number 5 of the what's next for VIP, I see expand outreach partnerships with a focus on increasing awareness. Do you have like a template? I mean, I'd just like to know how to do better outreach, or other ways that we could help with funding. I had the Wilton Rancheria help out last year they provided water. Mm-hmm. But I'd like to know how we can be more informed or have technical skills to do more outreach.
Absolutely. So I had a great meeting with Dennis and Deanna back here this week, and we talked just about that, putting together templates, work plans, potentially sponsorship levels, and some kind of tools to help you with your outreach in ways that we can be a little bit more clear and specific about, how those processes will work. So some of that's going to take some fleshing out as we're going to learn to mesh VIP with 916 Day with Deanna and all that she's doing. We're actively working on it. So it's a strong team, and we're going to put together something to help guide you in that.
And when would that be?
I'm hesitant to give you a timeline, but I would say in the next couple months, we'll probably flesh something out for you.
This will be to help for events all year long, not just 916, right?
Correct. Yeah, it's going to be like a toolkit.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Commissioner Vasquez?
Thank you, Chair. Thank you so much for the presentation. I do have some questions for you.
Okay.
So it's great to see these increases. I'm wondering what you attribute it to.
I really think a new focus on, I don't want to put it all on better impact, because that's not absolutely 100% the truth, but better impact helps. I think Dennis being in his place, being able to correspond and really work with the community. He's got a long-standing relationships. He's been in the city for a really long time. I think that it's just a team effort. There's not really one thing to pinpoint, but I think leadership, making that volunteerism a priority. Jackie and Shannon and Sean putting the people in the right places to really brainstorm and think about ways that we can make improvements. And some of those things are working. We have pluses and minuses. We had a couple things taken off the board as we met this week, but, you know, we see the successes, and I think it's truly a team effort.
Wonderful, love that. And then I'm wondering, was everyone that was registered in ActiveNet moved over to your new system, or is it just entering them as new folks come along?
It's entering them as new folks come along. So we realized that transitioning them from ActiveNet to Better Impact would be challenging for many reasons, one of which was that it's not really a great way to identify, are they just a program user? Are they a volunteer? We don't want to take them out of the ActiveNet platform because they also participate in programs. And so there would be a lot of contact that would need to be made in order to make that happen. For instance, my kids were at volunteer events, I register them, but they also go to programs. So they're still in ActiveNet, but they're also in Better Impact. Our vision is to have them in both if they want to be a part of both. But with that said, you don't have to be a part of Better Impact to register or be a part of a volunteer. We have a QR code that's scannable that they can fill out a Microsoft form. I understand I don't want another app every single time. I'm trying to get doggy daycare, and I've got 3 apps on my phone just because I have to do that. We don't want to make that thing that has to be you know, a requirement. So scanning the QR code, filling out a Microsoft form, and it just lives in a spreadsheet. If they don't want to do that, they can then fill out the paper form. But the majority of our folks are coming on to Better Impact. It's about a 50-50 split right now. We have about 600 in our Microsoft Forms database, and we have about 600 in our Better Impact. And so it's just a matter of copying and pasting the emails, sending it in Better Impact, and then sending it out from the volunteer email address. That's the word. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
Cool.
And I was really surprised when I took my daughters to volunteer recently, and there was a whole new form to fill out for each of us. That really took me by surprise. So I think it might be worth it to reach out to the email addresses you have in ActiveNet and say, hey, by the way, we have a new program. This is a link to it. And if you want to continue volunteering, you got to sign this up now, because 8 o'clock in the morning on a Saturday wearing gloves, that's not something I want to do, is fill out all the forms.
Absolutely.
Might be helpful.
Yeah, and that's part of the process. We can pull the individual activities and email those individuals. You know, that can be a step in our process. We've been communicating as much as we can, but I'll take a look into that.
Yeah, that'd be great, because if I got one of those emails, I could re-register all 3 of us easily at my leisure, you know.
Yeah,
I think that would be nice.
absolutely.
And then I know the first thing that D6 is going to ask me when I bring this back is, what is the breakdown of these volunteers? So we have this slide of how many you have by month and the increase from last year. But these numbers would be really helpful for me to see, like, how many events did you have in District 6? How many volunteers there are in District 6? And I know that you collect address information. Is the address information optional, or is that required? Would this data be possible to pull?
So we have 4 tree plantings for each district. That was the number given to each council office. We were going to provide 4 tree plantings. So we can pull out those dates, and I can provide you who volunteered at those specifically. I didn't pull that data and put it out for everyone to see and say, yeah, D6 had the most. But we do have the ability to kind of pull some of that data out. As we continue to grow within the data and the reports that we can pull from Better Impact, that's going to be a lot easier. But a lot of the problems with the addresses are zip codes. They cross boundaries. So that's a very, very tedious job to pull out every single individual and do an address search. But we can say this number of folks showed up in D6. I can't guarantee that they all live in D6 at that event. I don't live in D6 and I show up at those events, and so I would assume other people do as well. So I can show you who showed up and supported District 6 at an event, but I wouldn't be able to identify 5 of the 10 that came live in District 6 without taking hours and hours and hours to pull that.
I don't want you to take hours and hours, but I do think going forward this data would be really helpful, not just for tree plantings, but for the exact reason that you bring up, right, is that I know we have volunteers coming from different parts of the city to all, you know, of those tree plantings in all of those districts, but I would really appreciate understanding which districts do we need to engage which commissioner here has the fewest amount of people signing into that system so that they can blast it out, right? So that their council member can put it in their outgoing messaging and say, hey, we have a new system. This is how you volunteer, so we can be more strategic in, making these numbers even bigger.
We are doing that. So I've been working with marketing. We have a marketing plan on, we just put out, I think another social media post went out yesterday or the day before, encouraging to finish out our winter events. There was one a couple weeks ago. So we're really trying to tap into those opportunities. Like I said, I can say which district had the most bodies at these events, but again, to dial it down to who lives within that district, I wouldn't be able to do. So we do have that data. Again, I didn't want to make it a competition of who's got what, but I can, if you email me, I'd be happy to provide you some data on your district.
Sure, yeah, going forward, they're always going to ask me that, so
Okay.
you're prepared. I also would love to shout out Dennis. He does such a fabulous job, not just at events, but in preparing for events and meeting with neighborhood associations, especially in District 6. All of our NAs know him by name.
Yeah.
And, we sit in the park and we plan out what we need and how we're going to get it done. And his follow-through is impeccable. So
It is.
I would like to give my personal thanks to Dennis as well. Thank you for the presentation.
Thank you.
Commissioner Flores?
Thank you, Chair. I know it was about a year ago we did a job walk on the Del Rio Trail.
We did.
And at that time, I know you and Deanna were talking about how this new platform was upcoming and some of the hiccups then. But then some of the things you said on that job walk, I remember, you can see now the fruit, the fruit that it bore out throughout the rest of the year. Because I know in creating an event, in creating a unified QR code that is simple for the neighbors to then, register. And I know, like you said, hey, if we all just had one QR code, not multiple, and we don't know who goes where, and then throughout the year, okay, your team, Dennis, hey, we need that QR code. We can't blast out this flyer because we want to be mindful of, it's a team effort. So let's across all the channels, then people are getting captured so they can be in the system later on. And you can just see the bar graphs throughout the rest of the year. So I just want to acknowledge that. I know that was top of mind, like I said, about a year ago. Not that the platform itself is an indication of, these robust volunteer numbers, but I know that helps in less clicks and less things to worry about, so we can focus on other aspects of advertising an event and stuff like that. So but acknowledging that it does take a lot of people power behind the scenes to pull off a platform change, right? You have to retrain people to do certain things. Yeah, we can social media blast all day long, but you have to then click to then register, to then be reminded to then go at 8 o'clock in the morning, so you don't have to sign forms with gloves on. So just acknowledging that part, like how to see the vision and hearing some of the bullet points back then, and to see what has happened, and then to see in 26, 27, how it can be even more fluid and more dynamic in that sense. Now that we have about a year's worth of data, okay, what are some pros and cons? What can we focus on? What are the gaps? And then let's go from there, now that we're getting real life. But I know, anecdotally, working with the council office, we were like, we need that code, to blast out. So amongst other things, in having a successful event. So I don't think D7 was the top, but I know we're up there. So, but I know, in the spirit of competition. So, no, but thank you to everybody in this past year, and then seeing the bar graphs reflects that. So
Awesome. Thank you, Joe.
Commissioner Laver?
Just one last note. I see community engagement opportunities, and I see access leisure. Can you explain a bit about how that works out?
Yeah, so I'm currently working with our Access Leisure to roll out their volunteer platform and Better Impact. And so they work with our special needs community and do accessible sports, social nights, stuff like that. And so they're really looking to recruit volunteers. They have different tiers of needs. So a special event volunteer may show up just like we need them at the tree planting event. They're just coming to show up. We need a waiver, and they're fine. Some of them are going to require background check, TB test, and so there's another component to that. So Parks was just the first step in rolling out Better Impact for volunteers. We're going to engage the entire YPSI community into that. And so it's just really kicking it off section by section, unit by unit, and learning as we go. Because like Joe said, flipping a system is not easy. It takes time to build up what their needs are. And so they'll be kicking off theirs and expanding their volunteer pool. Joyce was here earlier. She talked about interns. That's a segment of volunteers. So really, this is just step one in a myriad of opportunities for YPSI to jump into the volunteer world and really kind of respect the process of why we need them and why they come out and do what they do.
Yeah, I'd like to learn more about the outreach, how you do that. It'd be nice to learn more about school districts,
Yeah,
different
so-
nonprofits. I mean, there's probably a lot of things contacts that I could help you with too, maybe.
Absolutely. Just being in the field, between Deanna, Dennis, myself, and all, Esteban, who used to be in the volunteer coordinator position, there's a large database of school administrators, school counselors, college admin professionals. There's a huge list that we pull to recruit from. There's also, boots on the ground. You go, show up at schools. Not as much as you used to, because that can be weird, but going to the community centers, talking to the families, talking to the people, it's as simple as that. But we also email our constituents right out of the database.
Thank you.
Commissioner King?
Thank you. Thank you for your presentation. I appreciate it. What a great speaker you are. I had 2 questions. So are we protecting these volunteers for YPSI? My concern is that, not necessarily concern, but I don't want to like hoard them, but
Yep.
I want to make sure that our volunteers are being protected and their information isn't being shared necessarily for like campaign emails, things like that. So it's not being shared with the council members for things like
No,
that.
absolutely not. I treat my constituent list as if they were all youth. And if a council member wants to get in touch with them, I will contact the individual and say, hey, reach out to so-and-so, please. We do not do any of that. Absolutely not. And where I thought your question was going on first, I want to answer it too, because we don't keep them just for YPSI. We're partnering with Earth Day, the sustainability crew, and they're going to be using Better Impact. It's a citywide software database that we're using, and so we'll be able to mingle with other departments
For
as well.
volunteer events.
For volunteers.
That's great. That was
Yes.
my other thing. So some of our council members have volunteer events where they host cleanups, different events. And it would be great to get maybe some like reusable lawn signs that like has the QR code that the council members can take to their events, post out, and then people, while they're at those events, can also sign up, just as a way to boost that database. Because sometimes they'll show up for council member things or community things or neighborhood things, but they don't necessarily, they're not plugged into the entire citywide
Right, yeah.
volunteer thing. So just an idea.
Yeah.
But that's great.
Cool.
I'm excited about this.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
All right, well, thank you. Thank you so much. So I would just say, we really appreciate it. It seems like you guys have put a lot of work into this. I want to triple down on how fantastic Dennis is. He's just been amazing to work with. We have some events coming up, and he's just fantastic. I love the new trailers. I think that's great. It'll really be eye-catching for people who are coming by who might just see it and say, oh, okay, I didn't know that was an option. And I would like, as you guys are putting together the sponsorship opportunities, if it's possible, I would love if there was a way to even drill down for people to be able to donate specifically to events. Like, so for instance, District 8, we have 2 tree plantings coming up, and I will be out of town for both of them, and I would feel a lot less guilty if I could give $50 to like buy snacks. That would make me feel better. So if we could even get that specific while you guys are building that, that would be great. So I would love to see that as a part of it.
Noted.
right.
Thank you.
And if there are no other speakers, thank you so much.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
This is receive and file, so we'll receive and discuss. So we will move on to the Volunteer Recognition Program update. Is there a staff presentation?
Yes.
All right.
Yes, I will.
Shannon Brown.
All right, thank you. Thank you, Chair. Last month, during the January Park and Community Enrichment Commission meeting, the commission passed a motion for staff to revise the 2018 Volunteer Recognition Program by including reviewing changes to the volunteer recognition agenda placement, review the month the volunteer awards are held, and provide recommendations for revising the award nomination categories. So this will open up for discussion, but I just want to kind of go through, this is a new set of guidelines, because the 2018, it had a lot of great information, but it wasn't categorized into a format where it would be easily readable and provide some kind of processes and procedures. So with that, for the first item, I wanted to talk about review changes to the volunteer recognition agenda placement. It can be at the beginning of the PCEC meeting. That is up to the chair and vice chair to make that call, but it really sounded like that would make the most sense for hosting, these awards, to have it at the beginning. And really what would be great is if it is decided to have it once a year, that the agenda just kind of focuses around that recognition award. And if we can move other reports to other months and just have that kind of be the focus, I think that would, be a good recommendation. Also, the second one was to review changes to the month that the Volunteer Recognition Awards are held. And again, this is in section number 9. We are recommending placing it on the September agenda to celebrate 9/16 Day, or a month that the commission decides. Again, it will be up to chair and vice chair and members of the commission to make that recommendation. And then the final motion that was requested was to provide recommendations for revising the award nomination categories. So in section 3 and 4, what we are recommending, instead of having park, youth, and community enrichment as a category, that we go by our department mission, vision, and values to nominate volunteers within those categories. So that's a general overview of the guidelines, and I will hand it over to the chair for questions and feedback of the commission. Thank you.
So just real quick, what are the categories?
The categories are following our mission, vision, and guidelines. So the mission: together we empower our youth, strengthen neighborhoods, and provide life-enriching programs for a beautiful, livable community. Our vision: our beautiful parks and enriching programs create thriving communities with healthy, strong, and cohesive neighborhoods. And then the values are listed. So if a volunteer, provided a safety course in water for us, they could be nominated in safety. Or if they dressed up, and celebrated trunk or treat, and just had an amazing, just effect in the community, they could be nominated for the value of enjoyment and fun. Or stewardship, planting trees, removing non-native species from open space areas. So the nominations, we really want them to be meaningful and reflect, our values, our mission, or our visions.
So if I'm looking at the form, the check marks would be the mission, the vision, or then each of the values listed.
So yes, attached, I did revise what the electronic form would look like. And so the nomination category, our guiding framework, it does have check marks for mission, vision. It's the second or third to last page.
Got it.
So it kind of identifies what category you would like to nominate them in.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Yeah.
All right, Are there any members of the public who would like to speak on this item?
Thank you, Chair. We have no speakers for this item.
Right. Commissioner Vasquez.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you to Vice Chair Robbins for sharing my sentiments at the last meeting. I also was not here. Great discussion. I haven't had a chance to read this new form. I would like to have a chance to look at it and think about it. And I don't have my pretty reader glasses today, so I want to look at it somewhere else. But I'm going to repeat the chair's question, which is it a category or a mission or a value, or is it both?
It can be all three. It could be supporting our mission, supporting our vision, or supporting our values.
Okay, so if I was like a business that supported, like donated to 916 Day, which one would I be nominated for?
It could be stewardship.
So number 3, it would be values.
It could be wherever you feel, are they providing a value of, supporting it financially? Yeah.
Like value and then collaboration, maybe?
You can check as many boxes as you like. We want to keep this as open and flexible for recognition. So,
Yeah.
yes.
Just in the sake of making it clear and not adding more to choose from, like in that instance, I'm guessing collaboration would be it and values, but I feel like maybe 1 and 2 are kind of repetitive. Empowering and strengthening and providing program is number 1. And then creating a thriving community is number 2, and cohesive neighborhoods. So maybe like a neighborhood association might fit into vision if they were
It
nominated.
doesn't have to follow a mission, a vision, or value. It can be if one part of the vision pulls to you that this person really, embraced the vision of our department, then you can state that. Or if they just were recognized by one of the values. It doesn't have to include every segment of the guiding framework, just one of them. And that's the lens we would like to look at the volunteer recognition through.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, let me think, I don't know if we're voting on this tonight or not. I hope not, because I would like to think about that a little more. Because it's not just us nominating, we're hoping that the public is also going to pick up the pace in nominating their folks too, and I want it to be really clear for them.
So this is brought back again. So we already discussed this. It was provided in the agenda packet. So it's up to the commission for next steps, so.
Commissioner Uribe?
Yeah, I just want to share my thoughts on this. I like it. So I think I understand the concerns that Commissioner Vasquez brings up, but also understanding that if it's a business or anybody off the streets being nominated, you're going to want to try to check all these boxes. I think that's the way I'm seeing it, where it gives us kind of a broad way to find nominees or have the public nominate individuals. I do like it. I think it gives an opportunity to say anybody that falls under these values, and if it is a business, if they mark enjoyment and fun, I would like to see in the description what it really means that this sponsor provided enjoyment and fun. Maybe it was water balloons and not water bottles, right? And like, I think about it that way. So I just wanted to share that with my fellow commissioners. I like it. I like it a lot. I'm curious on how my other fellow commissioners feel on the recognition. I think about our 916 Day being our really big volunteer day. And I think about award seasons, the Oscars coming up and or whatever, and we're in that time frame. This is just my opinion, but 916 Day is our big volunteer day, and sometimes that's where our stars come out and shine, our sponsors come out. So if I were to suggest, I would say that it's best to bring it kind of to a January meeting. I know we have concerns about being able to give it a spotlight to those nominees, those awardees who won. And I think about it as our first meeting is that we're reintroducing a chair and vice chair. Again, if this doesn't work in the bylaws, I'm trying to figure out what that looks like. But it gives us that full year to actually look at what our nominees did through 916 Day and through technically our tree planting. if we were to look back at those numbers about where our volunteers usually come out, and it's not in those summer months, and it's in the springtime, of course, but also in those fall months as well. So, yeah, thank you.
Commissioner King?
Okay, I see now the form that I understand what you're saying, Commissioner Vasquez, and then Commissioner Uribe. I think it would make, it would be more clear if we had the 3 buckets, like mission, vision, and values, and then it's like you can encompass one of them or a part of one of them, but you don't necessarily, then there's like enjoyment, fun, safety, stewardship. Why are there extra boxes? Are those just other categories? Those are values. Right.
Yeah, those are all the values of our department.
So it's just, oh, I see.
I see it as like creating the award. Forgive me if I'm speaking out of line. Like, it seems like this is what we're nominating based off this, and then if that individual that was nominated were to be chosen for that award, they're chosen for that very specific thing that they did that fell under those missions and values. That's how I understand it. And correct me, Shannon, if I'm wrong in understanding, where it's like, if we're having that business example of a sponsor and they donated and went above and beyond, if we have them marked under our mission and value where they followed all these things and they win that award, the award is what we decided, which is based on that winner. Am I wrong to understand that?
Well, this is your awards. This is your program.
Yeah.
So, I think when we do the certificates, it's not going to call out specifically enjoyment and fun. We just want to make sure that the nominees are kind of following our mission, vision, and values, and, keep it very open. It doesn't, you will be reviewing them and making the recommendations. We're just trying to provide a more open framework for, trying to capture a little bit more, support within our department of what we do, and we're hoping the volunteers also, can at least check one of those boxes. But again, this is your volunteer award program, so.
I like the mission, I like the vision. I think the values is where it's just killing me, because it's like this bucket, it's a bucket, and then there's a bunch of different little buckets, and so it's almost like values needs to be its own bucket, and then it has all of these listed, and it could be one of them, but we don't need to necessarily call it out, right? That's all I'm thinking. But overall, I was gonna say something about the month as well. I think January is a heavy month to host. I think September is a good idea. However, depending on how we do 916 Day, I know this year we're moving forward with 916 Day throughout the year. Am I correct? So, but if that ever changes and we were to go back to the way that we used to do things, it would be a very heavy meeting in addition to the nominations. And so I was thinking February would be a good month, because January we get some of the business stuff out of the way. February we could have the year, think about it. January could be submissions, get everybody set, and then February we could present the awards. That was just my thought. And that clears the rest of the months for things like, thinking like the ranger report, the pools, swim, Camp Sacramento. That's gonna be closer to the summer. So those are my thoughts. But I'm open to discussion.
Commissioner Flores?
Thank you, Chair. Hearing the comments from the commissioners, the nomination category, having led January's meeting, and I think that the bullet point was the old way of recognizing with the nomination forms is youth, parks, community enrichment. And then the sentiment was, let's make it just an all-encompassing award that you get from the commission. And I see these categories on this page, right, the nomination form, as the secondary. It's not necessarily tied. You're going to get the award that says, commission, congrats, you're recognized as an, and then if a business did give to an event, and if it is a public member, making the nomination form, maybe they think, by giving them a robust set of check mark boxes to check from, like how you said, Commissioner Uribe, maybe it is if a business gave, right now, if a business was going to be recognized on our current form, are they parks, are they youth, are they community enrichment? But at least here, it's a little bit now more dynamic because they improved the right here, mission, strengthening neighborhoods. Like that's the secondary category. The award itself is just the title. In the staff report, it's like because the nominator says because they gave to this, that improved our neighborhood and we had, 100 water balloons and everyone got wet, right? Like that would be the why of why they're being recognized, right? So I think the sentiment in January was let's not be beholden to 4 categories. It's one recognition, and here's all the subcategories of why one could get nominated. So maybe correct me if I was wrong in that. And seeing it here, it makes sense. It could be a little bit more clear, but because we're making recommendations saying, hey, we like this, but we can still tidy it up. I think that's the recommendation we can move forward to codify this, because we could get granular all day long and we lose the forest through the trees in a sense. To the point of recognition month, I'm off, I can hear January, I can hear February, I can hear September. We do have to probably pick one for 26. To me, and this is me speaking, like if we did a September one, I'm just picking September, that is the month of 916. Like that marketing wise, it's like, hey, we're doing this. I know we're doing 916 Day throughout the year, but it's literally September to recognize awardees as a marketing piece. It's like, hey, don't forget to be a volunteer, VIP Parks volunteer. It's September, 916 Day is this month. An argument could be had, but you're right, Commissioner Uribe, it could be, we're in war season right now, right? Like Grammys was last week, Super Bowl's this week, and Oscars is in a couple of weeks, right? Yeah, we are in that mode in a sense for those who follow the pop culture. So yeah, February would be an awesome time, right? Like I said, Grammys, Golden Globes, Oscars, right? So that is an awesome reason why to have it on a February. It is after business, January is the business month and stuff like that. So we can have that, I know in the staff report it says, yeah, September, so maybe we move forward with a month codified, but then it also says at the discretion of chair, vice chair. So it's like I said, we can get granular, and this is a fluid doc. I would suspect that it's still subject to, minor changes, but the overall ask is, hey, they heard us in January. Is this good? I think so. And there's still room for improvement to make it better. Those are my thoughts. I like crosstalk, and we're cross-talking again, so those are my thoughts.
All right, I'm going to jump in before everyone gets to say a second thing. So I was under the impression that 916 Day, at least for this year, was a celebration. So if we're talking award season, I would think that doing it in September would be the start of the celebration here, and then whatever picnic, I guess, that we have for 916 Day celebrating the other volunteers from throughout the year would be a part of that. So I actually like September. My concern about February would be thinking about when people cycle off. If we have elections in November, someone else is elected, they appoint someone new to the commission, how that might affect it. Now, they might not be that fast, but they could be, and so, people terming out. That's just something to think about with February, so that's something to think about. I would love if for council district, we could add citywide, because I always mark District 8 because I live in District 8, but most of mine that I've nominated are actually citywide, and I just put D8 because that's where I live. But I do think that some people represent the whole city, so that might be something that we can do. And I don't necessarily mind having the visions or the values laid out, because I was thinking about my neighborhood association, they do a chess program, so that's what I was thinking, enjoyment and fun, for that the very specific thing that they do. So I could go either way on that. So that is all from me. Commissioner Vasquez.
Thank you, Chair. Commissioner Flores, to go back to, you're right, it's one award, it's one certificate, and it could be all these things, and you can mark any of these boxes. I think what this form shows is that it's 3 boxes. The third would be values, and that's where all these little check marks are. So they wouldn't all be choosing one of these values. You would either choose values or one of the other 2. There's like mission, like, this is the third one, so I just want to make sure you understood that part.
No, that's not what I heard staff say.
No, it's, on the nomination category, it's select one or more. So the mission, the vision, or the values are listed down here. So you could select one or more. That's what it says on the form, so it could be one or more.
So one or more of the 3 categories plus values?
No, it could be one, it could be just the vision, or you could identify, it's just how you're nominating them. It's not gonna, so it's, you just have to do one, at least
Yeah.
one.
So in that spirit, I think this is a lot of interesting sentences to choose from. Like, if I look back at my past awardees and have to choose one, it would be hard, because like I said, I think they're kind of repetitive, 1 and 2. And then 3 is really clear because it has like examples, which are the values.
Yeah, but you can just select one.
Right, but I want to make sure that I select the right one, and I think I would be nervous if I was reading the first sentence and then the second sentence, and then there's like number 3. So if it really is all the same certificate, why do we have to break them out into so many different categories? Maybe it's just, this is a paragraph of, these are the things that you could have done to support, and if you did any of these things, then you've won this award.
We were just looking at the overall guiding framework of what our department is about and what they stand for and what you represent. You help represent our department. And so we just, put the mission, vision, and values as, all those. But again, I'm here for feedback. So, yeah, just let, I'm here.
We can, sorry to.
I'm not done, just 1 second. And thank you for putting them together, because that's a great list. But it's a significant change between, youth, park, community enrichment. In my mind, that was really clear. I understand adding more criteria to make it more clear, but I think for me, this makes it a lot less clear as to which one I would want to choose. But I also wanted to weigh in on my comment on the month as well. And I do believe that January is a great month, because while we do have the election, that doesn't take very long. It's when we discuss what we want to speak about for the year. And I do believe that most families would be in town in January, as it's in the thick of it for school families, and folks are probably done with their vacations. But I also believe that February is when we discuss our budget. So even though this commission hasn't had the budget workshop for the last 2 years in February, that is when we are supposed to have it, so that we're ready for March and April's budget discussion. So that actually should be our heaviest. Crosstalk month should be February. So I would vote again for January. September is a rough time with 916 Day at the same time. I do think that's a lot with back to school as well. And while I appreciate, pop culture, I think January is a great month for this. And I think that when this was designed, our initial ceremony was a completely separate meeting. It was its own recognition meeting. It did not conflict with this meeting. So to go back to the very beginning, yes, I think it should be at the beginning of the meeting. I don't think families should have to wait through our meeting and then be at the end. 2, I think it should be in January. And 3, I think that these could be simplified even further. And thank you for putting so much work so quickly in such back-to-back meetings to get this together, Shannon. Thank you.
I will say one thing to look at is that we don't have a December meeting this year. And so, because we used to not have an October meeting, and now we don't have a December meeting, so we would be voting in November, skip December, and then if we have the awards in January. So that would be something to think about.
Or a July meeting.
For what would be on the calendar. Commissioner Robbins.
Yes, I'm just gonna.
Vice Chair Robbins, my bad.
No worries. No, I'm just gonna kind of confirm, no matter what category we check, it's gonna be the same certificate that we present to the awardee. So it just really comes down to whoever puts down to what they do and whatsoever going forward on that, right? So it doesn't really matter what box we check. It's just basically the words that we put into the awardee and how we present it. So, okay. So, yeah, I just wanted to go on that because, I had me and Commissioner Labor, four winners of it. It's just, it's all about celebration. The people that are great, it doesn't really what box they check. If they're excellent at what they do, this is just a great thing that we do to say thank you. And so that's one thing I would say, and I love the idea of going to staff because I know we're all deeply rooted in our community. So we know a guy that does this. We know a guy that does that. But talking to our staff and finding out, there's a person that's very quiet that prunes roses every Saturday. We don't know. So I'm leaning back on that. I don't want to worry about what box I check on when I see this, or the guy that I always love that cleans up duck poop every single on Lowrider Lane. I just want to make sure we appreciate that. So whatever way we could simplify this going forward, that's great. And then going towards the day for when we do it is I go to staff and just whatever's the least amount of work for staff. We want to get through these done in a timely manner. And as the meetings go, as we have found out today, we could just move it to the front of the agenda so we don't have to worry about them being bored through their minds through our things. As you can see, everyone's here so enjoyingly. Shout out to Lambert Day Spector. Thank you for coming over here because he used to be here at every meeting. But we just got to celebrate these in the right way. So I just wanted to put my 2 cents on that. And yeah, just we should just make this to a fun thing and make it easy. So thank you.
Commissioner Langer?
Thank you. Yes, I wanted to take a moment to thank staff. It's a very thoughtful and thorough plan, and so thank you so much for the thoughtfulness that was put into this and the time, because clearly there was significant time. Same question. So just a comment, agenda placement. I wholeheartedly agree with my fellow commissioners that at the top of the agenda is where this type of programming should go. And back to the discussion on the month, September, just selfishly, as a mom of several children, is quite busy, and we will be competing with open houses and back to school nights and senior projects, and there's just a lot of stuff that happens in that month of September in community as well. I know because we do a lot of those things, and so I can say, with conviction that September is a very busy month in community. I don't think that counts it out necessarily, just flagging it just as FYI. I also, and forgive me, I wasn't here, I just came in December, so I wasn't here for much of the discussion prior to that regarding the month. I thought just being here for the December celebration, it was a wonderful time. It was already sort of in that spirit of the holidays and gathering and community, and it just felt like very timely. Like it felt like the right time for that type of recognition ceremony and gathering with community and friends and family and bringing folks together. That being said, I don't have any strong feelings one way or another. I defer to you all as the experts on that. And I just back to the nomination categories. I do a lot of my work, and what I do is also very rooted in mission, vision, and value, so this makes a lot of sense to me. And just in my opinion, it does, to me, it expands the categories and the framework for identifying the types of recognition that you would want in community, only because I didn't really understand the youth. I didn't understand fully the former categories, and so I know we're moving away from that discussion, but to me, this makes a lot more sense, and not to get into the minutia, but I think it does make sense, as my commissioners has stated, my fellow commissioners, to call these values and then subcategory them, just so people kind of more clearly see the connection between what they're sort of, I don't want to say voting for, what they're nominating, and where that can, where their community folks can really provide those categories. But again, having such a vast and wide array of categories, I think opens it up to so many more types of people and types of volunteers, because the former categories just seemed a little bit more prescriptive and less, to me, in my opinion, a little more narrow. So yeah, just enjoying the discussion, and thank you for giving me the chance to speak.
Commissioner Uribe?
Piggyback on our conversation specifically on these, we're calling like nomination categories, but I'm looking at the form and the top, and this is what community members will see. It says, please identify which YPSI guiding principles best reflects the nominee's volunteer contributions. And I think I'll say that another reason why I really like them is to Commissioner Langer's point, when I came onto the commission, I was like, hey, here's the nomination form, go look at it, trying to understand where those three things, who falls under those three specific categories. And I feel with this, I'm a person, regular Joe, out in the street, and I'm like, hey, this person's going above and beyond. I'm gonna nominate them. I'm gonna click on this form, and I'm gonna read that first thing, and based on the person I'm gonna nominate, I'm gonna try to see if they fit as many of these categories as possible. And I think that's what I see with, shout out to Patrick VIP, who's out there at all those tree plantings. I look at this, he does the mission, he does the vision. There was enjoyment and fun that he brings to the event. So I'm thinking about even him as an example. He's a collaborator. I think he's innovative and he's excellent. I'll park all these. And then it's our job to do the tough thing and read the description along with these guiding principles to say, do they deserve the award for D2, D3, and so on. So again, just saying that. And then that's just the Oscars, you got awards here that are local, My Sister's House and all these good stuff. Just that, that's it.
Commissioner Flores.
Not speaking as a recent awardee and a recent, not at all, no experience whatsoever.
We all saw that on social media.
So,
Commissioner Flores.
yes, thank you. No, Commissioner Langer, your comments, I ditto everything you just said right now, because I was just talking to our new commissioner right now, and it is those fresh set of eyes of questioning why. Hey, these categories look old, or why these categories, they're almost too tight, and these reasons why, I mean, if we're even going to say category, but the reasons why one would get nominated, like Patrick, who may live in a certain part of the city and is in all of our events, right? Like going back to the previous report, right? Like that guy is everywhere, but he's at a D7 event, but he may not live in D7 and all that stuff. So, and then, like I said, I know we don't want to get too granular, but maybe even where it says select one or more, maybe that click all that apply, or use language like that, so that way then that triggers the language of all of us who do surveys, right? Like, oh yeah, that seems, I think I'm trying to recall January, for those of us that were here in January, that the sentiment was more robustness, more wise, right? Because it is still the award we're giving out to them. So you said it beautifully. I'm going to add on to that, but just to reemphasize that, yeah, as a person who's been here long, that doesn't mean anything. It's those fresh set of eyes. It's like, hey, we need to be more robust. I hear you all day long. Let's be more robust. So.
Having seen this for 20 minutes.
The freshest of eyes.
The freshest of eyes. I look at these categories as not categories, but I understand them as nominee contributions instead. We are not giving, as if I understand the recognition program correctly, we are not giving an award for safety. We are not giving an award for mission or vision or values. We are giving an award to a person who embodies those principles. And has provided a contribution to YPSI. So I guess my small suggestion is that perhaps instead of calling it nomination categories, you call it nomination contributions, which better reflects the instructions down below.
Commissioner King.
Okay, finally. No, just kidding. No, I appreciate everybody's contributions to this conversation. It's really been helpful to have a conversation, and it's really changed my thoughts on some things, even since I first spoke. So January, I think, is a great month for holding this. February, I agree, the budget would get in the way. I think there's several things that I wasn't thinking of when I previously spoke, although it is a great award season, right? February is a great month, but January would also work well. I agree with Commissioner Langer that September can be rough for some families. I think that's the sentiment that we went into with December, is that it's challenging in December, even though it does embody that spirit. It's challenging for not only the nominees, but for us ourselves to get to those meetings sometimes. And so we just wanted to make it more accessible. So January, I think, is a great month. What was my other thought? We went in, went out. Oh, the value. I love Commissioner Lang. Thank you for that. I love that sentiment of their embodiment of these values or the mission, the vision. I think that's great because again, it's not an award. It's an award to recognize their volunteerism, their dedication to their city, and they embody that through these values or through these missions and through this vision. So I think that's all I had to say, but you guys, great conversation.
All right, now did I hear you say that the chair gets to pick, like, when it goes in the schedule in the month? The chair and the vice chair? Because I hate January, so you guys got to convince me. Are there any other months that we like? October?
I do have a clear, oh, sorry.
Any other month we can agree? I mean, I will go with January, but is there anything else?
Well, February is.
I hate
we
that
don't do-
too.
We
How's
typically
November
don't
for
do
everybody?
October, November? Anybody? Or is it January? If you guys say January, I'll like, just look me in the eye and say it, but I hate it. You said January.
It seems like based on choosing the day, month, has to do with having the time at our meeting. Because I think like Commissioner Vasquez brought up, it's like we kind of squeeze it in one.
Any other month?
November feels thankful.
November, anybody?
crazy.
Or are we all going with January?
No? Thank you for the crowd out there.
Okay, if you, just say, if you guys are saying, I know you're saying January. Is that what everyone's saying? Vice Chair,
I'm always going to fight for whatever's easiest for staff. Yeah. That's the easiest way. If we have a stacked
We're
car.
talking about me.
Well, you have the gavel.
I know, but I don't want to wield it all wild.
That's what I fight.
All right, okay, so, and yes, I agree, the beginning of the meeting. So what I am hearing, and this is what I'm gonna ask if we have a motion for, is nomination contribution instead of category, and adding citywide to the council district, beginning of the meeting, and January, boo.
And adding values.
And then adding values above, after
category.
vision, and between vision and enjoyment and fun.
It's the values, it's just a categorizing, it's just putting the values, it's there.
Make it more clear.
I'll say one last thing on the month. To the points that were mentioned on busyness and dates, if we have a September meeting to finalize our awards, and we're doing it kind of the 916 day, is it possible to just do the award picture fun celebration at 916 day? So that way our meeting isn't long with photos and stuff like that, and people are taking photos with us awesome commissioners and parks behind and trees and whatnot.
I think the
Trying to find a solution for you, Chair Gaines, on like September meeting.
I think the 916 day stuff is like not at the meeting anymore. It's like a separate celebration.
Gotcha.
So our meeting isn't even 916 day related.
Right. I'm thinking we just have the celebrations.
I feel like
Outside
we
of the
can come back
commission
to the
meeting.
date, because I don't even think the date's on here. We're tabling the date.
There's flexibility, I forgot what section, it's September or, when the chair and vice chair would like to make that recommendation.
Do it.
And then also, just for awareness, February, we typically don't do budget update in February. It could be, that's a little soon, but, definitely March or April is when we'll have some budget updates. So February could also be a potential. Typically, we're still developing some of those recommendations, so.
Commissioner King, is that still you, or did we not click past you?
No, it is me. I was just going to respond. But now never mind.
All right, so with those edits mentioned, we'll talk about them a month later. Do we have a motion?
I'll motion. If that's what needed.
All right, so we have a motion from Commissioner Uribe and a second from Commissioner Laver. Okay, so the motion is to pass with the edits of nomination contribution, adding values to the nomination contribution, adding citywide to the council district, and moving it to the beginning of the agenda whenever we decide to have it. All those in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed? Abstain? All right, the motion passes with those edits. That took 52 minutes. I know that because I have a plane to catch. All right. We are going to move on to 916 day updates.
Good evening, Commissioners. I'll try to make it fast so you can catch your plane.
No problem, and happy early birthday.
Oh, thank you. Happy early birthday to you, birthday twin. All right, so 916 Day. For some of the newcomers, I just kind of wanted to just give a brief overview of what 916 Day has been in the past and kind of where we've, decided it should head. So 916 Day has been a day or a few days in September on or around the 16th where volunteers come together to beautify parks. Usually what we've done is we've either had events in every single district, which we decided was a little chaotic. So last year we decided to pare it down and just do it for regional parks in districts that are in need. So that was, I think, 3 events or 4 events last year, all clustered into 3 weekends in September. I thought those went great. I loved that idea. But then we were hearing some rumblings of, certain districts that felt left out and they, wanted a 916 Day event in their district. So to solve that problem, we have decided, let's just do 916 events all year round. And so now that I'm partnering with Sarah and her crew on YPSI VIP events, we kind of came to this crossroads of what is the difference between a normal volunteer event versus what is the difference between what that is and a 916 event. Merch is one of them, yes. So 916 events will be anything that is council-led or commission-led. So anything that you all are, promoting out into the public, any events that you guys are organizing, could be tree plantings, could be park cleanups, could be anything that you're doing to help beautify our green spaces. It can even be something like, in our parks, Janine had a really great one, and I keep coming back to it because it was the most impactful before and after photos. But painting backstops is one of them. It doesn't have to be plant-based. It can be anything that you decide. And we are going to take a look at the deferred maintenance list and start utilizing that in a better way, too. Just to go out there, Sarah and Dennis and I will take some tours, see some sites, see where some problem areas are, and hopefully get that feedback to you guys, and you guys can decide whether or not you want to choose those as your projects. So tonight, one thing I thought we should do, and we don't have to have a robust discussion on it, but we need to identify 916 events, and this includes locations, community partnerships, sponsorships, marketing and promoting, volunteer recruitment, event logistics, and materials needed. So, for a paint project, that could be just paintbrushes, water, like whatever, and then for tree planting, we're gonna need that whole tool trailer that you guys just saw. We're gonna need that whole thing, plus bathrooms, plus other things. So we have to start making a list of, how we wanna do that and what that sort of looks like. Also wanted to mention that last year we had 2 special task forces. One of those task forces was sponsorships, trying to go after getting some money so that we can fund these events and continue to have swag and continue to have snacks and drinks at our events while our volunteers are working. And then the other task force was for marketing. I think marketing is going to be a lot easier this year just because of, kind of the marriage between VIP and 916. But I would still like to have input from the commission for those. So if we do nothing else tonight but identify who will be in those roles so that we can start to have meetings, and then what I would like to do with each of you is have one-on-ones and say, okay, what kind of an event do you want to have? Where will it be? What does that look like to you, and how can I help? I've already been to 2 tree planting events, one in Commissioner Langer's district last weekend at Swainson's Hawk, and it went amazing. And then another with Commissioner Uribe at Robla. So I know there are tree planting events coming up. I have the whole schedule, but I also am not I'm not limiting myself to just tree plantings. You know, I think as the tree planting window closes, there will be other opportunities, and probably a lot of other opportunities as far as like cleanups go and things of that nature. So basically what I wanted to talk to you guys about tonight is what do we want to do differently or the same this year? I've already written down reusable lawn signs from Commissioner King, which I think is a great idea to advertise, especially as we are trying to get these volunteers out there. If there's just people walking their dog in the park and they see, oh, I can sign up here to volunteer at this park this weekend to do X, Y, and Z, that just makes it super easy. We just have to keep track of those signs. And then the 916-day spotlight during awards season from Commissioner Uribe. I think we can somehow tie that into how we celebrate 916-day. I just want your guys' guidance and leads on that. So I open up the floor to ideas.
Are there any members of the public who would like to speak on this item?
Thank you, Chair. Yes, we have one member. Will Lambert please come?
This is one of the reasons I came. The millennials, they know I'm going on the road, but they told me to come to Yipsy. And this is an example of why I push, and I go in front of city council and say it. I don't just come to a commission. I go to the city council, and I say that Yipsy should receive funding. Not because it's a popularity contest, it's just they think outside the box. What she just said was make 916 year-round. That's outside the box thinking right there, because if you're just talking about September. Also, the millennials, I know they're listening, they follow me heavily. They wanted me to give this QR code to Robbie because, you know, he's a Pacer alumni, and I'm a Pacer alumni too. Speaking of that, Yipsy had something in Del Paso Heights at Hagenwood during the holidays because I took my grandchildren to it. And it was a wonderful presentation. It was. A lot of people loved that presentation, and it was Yipsy who put that on at Hagenwood Park. I will hand this to the clerk so she can pass this QR code to everybody on the rostrum so you can get a picture of it. And I know you'll be able to do that. Also, during Martin Luther King Day, which was at Grant High School, it was a luncheon there, and at the last minute, they called us and asked us to do it. That was like a reunion for me because I saw some people I hadn't seen since high school, and I think I sent that to Jackie. We received rave reviews, and then after that, they parlayed that in our granddaughter's song, which I know I played here. That thing has taken on another world of itself, and she's gone to college. So I'll be back for the last part. Oh.
Thank you. All right, Commissioner Flores.
Thank you, Deanna. Because this year's thought process is opening up the calendar, is there opportunities of what we can't do in September that now that we have a year-long approach? Because, you know, like tree plantings kind of come off the calendar, but then pools could come online, right? Like if we did it like, I know there was a D8 event where they opened up a pool at, I think, Cabrillo Park last year in August. Mm-hmm. Yeah, you know, opportunities like that, like what new things that are within the Yipsy like umbrella that now that the whole year is available, we can have opportunities on. So I think that that's food for thought, and if you're asking for volunteers, I would like to help out in marketing and or outreach in that, because then that also is what other city departments or what other commissions we can partner with. If some of us did meet the new youth commissioner that got appointed, maybe that's hey, they can reach out to some of their networks that they have great ideas that we were probably not aware of, and then how do we uplift and support that, and that could be an opportunity. Again, under the Yipsy umbrella, or a partnership in braiding resources with a different, let's say, Department of Utilities. You know, they got some cool toys. You know, like there could be some things there if we're expanding our horizons a bit, and still celebrates the city, and that was the original intent anyways, that we're celebrating the city via the assets like parks, but it could be other things too. So food for thought, we can go from there.
Got it down on my list.
All right, thank you.
Commissioner Laver, your turn.
Thank you. How are you?
I'm great. How are you?
Good. So a couple things. There was a tree planted in McKinley Park a couple weeks ago. I think they planted like 20 trees, like over 50 people. Then on Sunday, there's going to be a group of 50 people that go to Southside Park. And I think it's connected to Channel 31. They're going to be on TV, I think. It's called Social Group, I think. But my question,
Southside?
yeah, there'll be a group going on Sunday, I think at 10. But my question is, how many of these events are we kind of required to produce or do? I mean, is it like one every weekend?
No, it's up to you. Whatever you have the capacity for. And again, I wanted to clarify that the normal, like, YPSI VIP events would be like something like an outside, like, I guess, not within the city. Like Rewild sometimes comes out and wants to plant trees. That would not be a 916 event because it's a group from the outside coming in. That would just probably be a normal volunteer opportunity.
That wouldn't be a 916. So
Unless it's led by a commissioner or a council member.
I'm going to be there.
Oh, okay. So it's your event.
Not really. Dennis knows about it. So a group reached out to Dennis.
Okay.
And then they said, we'd like to come to your park and do a cleaning event. Like light trash.
Yeah, I can connect with Dennis and see if that would be a 916
Because
event.
the numbers will be good. It'll be like 40 or 50 people.
Yeah, yeah, and that's great for our volunteer program as a whole. But we're doing, in the way that we're branding it, it's going to be completely separate. So that'll probably just be a VIP volunteer event. 916 events will be like, hey, this is led by council member Guerra, and he's asked the community to come out, and Commissioner Vasquez is leading it, and she's doing, let's say she, is leading the tree demonstration and doing things like that. That would be considered 916.
Is this in writing?
like-
Yeah. Do you have this in writing or is it?
I do, yeah,
Can you send that to me?
absolutely.
Sorry to interrupt you.
That's okay. But yeah, I mean, those are good questions, Mark, and we can talk offline about, what the details are of what you know of that event, and we can figure it out.
Thank you.
Commissioner King, you may speak.
Vice Chair. Deanna, thank you so much for being here. My question is about, I have two questions. The first one is about engaging with community at different areas of like our programs, YPSI in general. So like at our community centers, we're already maybe putting it out there that we want volunteers. Are we putting it out there that we want specific 916 day volunteers? Or is it, can we tap that, I'm sorry, I forgot the name of it, the program. Yes, the Better Impact volunteers for these different 916 day events.
So Better Impact plays a huge part in both YPSI VIP and 916 day events. They are married to each other, so it's all the same information. The volunteer can decide, do I want to go to this one or that one?
Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking we'll just, like, if we're doing volunteer outreach, we can funnel them not only to the 916 day events, but we can funnel them also to the Better Impact program. So it should be like one QR code, is what I'm thinking?
Yes.
Okay. I think that's great. And so when we're thinking lawn signs, reusable things like that, we can utilize them in both areas.
In both areas.
Yeah, I love that. And then my second question is about a roster of events. So because we're not necessarily having one day or a few days in September or in that month, is there going to be a list of events, either past or present? How does, like, the council members, how does the community members who want to follow along with 916 Day, or how do we keep track of them? Like, we like to go to each other's 916 events. So is there a way that staff has come up with, or is there a way that we can help support, like a calendar or?
Yeah, so earlier when I said we had those two special task force for sponsoring and marketing.
That's one of them.
Marketing is the one. So if you have extra time, I know all of you have day jobs and you don't have extra time for certain things, but if you do have an extra hour in the month, that's where we would get together, meet, and kind of decide, how do we want to put this out there? I mean, I think you guys know for 916 Day, I'm always down to go to schools, key clubs, try to recruit kids from there, try to recruit a lot of our own, Summer at City Hall kids. The opportunities are everywhere. You just have to look. And I think the idea of just having that one QR code, because Sarah and Dennis and I will be at the Employment Resource Fair, because a lot of those kids come in, yeah, they want a job, but they have no experience. And volunteerism is such a great way for us to tie in, hey, look, if you've already worked and volunteered at our events, there's a possibility that someday down the line you could be hired at LNL, or, we're used to seeing your face, like when you come in for an interview with the city of Sacramento, it's likely because you're familiar and we know you that you'll have an upper hand. So there's a lot of things that, that we can do to recruit and support all of that so that we have a ton of volunteers. And Better Impact, I will just be the biggest cheerleader for, because it has made my job so much easier rather than having to go to two different places and not know if one is programming or volunteering. It's just made a huge difference.
Yeah, I really like the idea of, even so like our high schoolers, right? Everybody signs up for Better Impact. You get a notification when there's an event. There's a calendar of events that you can sign up for. We're funneling everybody to the same resource, and that way they're showing up to all of our events because they're in there. So I love that idea. And moving forward, I think that's a great place to keep them. I just think, yes, sign me up for the marketing. I have an hour extra a month, and I will help with that.
Go on to Commissioner Vasquez.
Thank you, Vice Chair.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. I'll volunteer for sponsorships, relationships, making sure that these aren't yearly but like long-term, relationships. I would like to kind of switch us in that direction this year, so that we can, ask, what are you doing this year? And at the same time, what do you want to do next year? So I would love to be on that team with you. And also for marketing, I think our former neighborhood associations would be a really great thing to tap, to go back to, their former event and show the impact. I know I was at Billy Bean Junior Memorial Park yesterday, where the year before last we held our D6 916 Day event, and a lot of the plants that we planted together are gone. They're just dead, and I know that we only replace our shrubs once a year as a schedule. So maybe even a recurring event could be useful, right? This is where we were last year, and now we're replacing the plants that died. Half of them are there, great, but I don't think it has to be a new place every time.
Yeah.
I think, revisiting, during that event, it was so special because, we had met with the neighbors who expressed to us the violence that had been happening at that park, and a lot of the things they asked for, we actually have not yet delivered, even though it's 2 years later. So, signage was really important to them. If they could please just have a sign that says this park closes at dusk or dark, then they wouldn't have, the gang activity that they have in the dark at that park. I think that was a really simple ask, and we still haven't provided them a sign. So I know that somehow my sign conversation got off of the follow-up log, but if we could discuss, what is the basic signage that is currently put at every park? And is that something that is updated on a yearly basis as well? Or is that something that, I know at Earl Warren Park, they have a fantastic sign that says when to call 311, 911, and that this park closes at dark. So maybe revisiting, going back to all of your former sites would be something good, and see if we can use them in marketing. Like, hey, our neighborhood association, participated in this event. This is why we did it, and we're going to come back and revisit. That might be more compelling to someone as a community member to get involved, as opposed to just saying, here, sign up here and show up here.
Yeah.
Like seeing other community members being like, hey, we did this, look what we did, and you can do it too. That might help rope some folks in for you. And then again, much like the the website page that exists for our volunteer recognition program that is currently outdated. So is our 916 page on the website currently outdated. It's like, coming soon, more information in 2025. You know, so if we can either just wipe out the monthly or yearly information on that page and make it very general, like just put the QR code there, or just the brief synopsis like you have in writing to provide to Commissioner Laver as to what it is, might be a better use of that website, so it doesn't have to be updated all the time. And then a list of former sites would be great, because if we're just using like social media to be like, hey, this is where we were, I don't think folks would go back to last year's social media posts to figure out what we did last year.
Yeah.
So maybe just a simple list instead of pictures would be good to know that they're not asking for a repeat, or to go back and see what we did before and see if the paint needs to be done again.
Okay.
Does any other commissioners have anything to say today? Your eyes do not deceive you. I'm your Vice Chair, Robbie Robbins. The chair has left the building. I have to say, cousin, I enjoyed 916 Day every year. I love the marketing idea. That was my question I was going to say, is how's marketing going to attack this? Are we going to have like a before and after, or maybe a gag reel at every single stop, and we have the reunion at the end, you know? And so I don't know if like, we had really good fun 2 years ago when we did that.
Yes, we did.
Yeah, so I want to kind of go forward next year, well, this year, and make sure we bring that back to the table. So, all right, let's see how we can do that going forward. But as this has been reviewed and discussed, and we're getting to the point where we're almost at 7:30, I want to see if we have to put to a vote if everyone's okay with going forward after 7:30, if it is needed. All right, and we can push it to a vote right now. 7:30, or, okay, we can get to, okay, all right, I'll make sure the ship does not sink or burn down while this chair is gone. Okay, we will move on to the director's report.
Staff report. Yes. All right. This will be very short. So we have just a few updates for the commission. The PCEC annual report has passed the P&PE committee and is going to City Council on February 24th at 2 p.m. on the consent item. For the month of January, the park rangers' calls for service were 859 total calls for service. They had responded to a total of 380 rapid response calls and posted 14 special park events. Also in community centers is offering a Senior Woodstock Flashback special event on April 16th at George Sim Community Center from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. The event is $5 and will include a live DJ, karaoke, and a light meal and refreshments. This event does not require pre-registration, and participants are encouraged to wear their best 60s attire. However, we do have registration that is available online or at your local community center, so we hope to see you there. In addition, we are prepping for our upcoming budget cycle, and the Finance Department reported to the Budget and Audit Committee earlier this week that mid-year forecast shows city continues to be in a structural deficit with a budget gap of $66.2 million projected for fiscal year 26-27. Similar to the last 2 years, Council will discuss reduction strategies at the budget hearings in the coming months. And in March, the commission, we will have the budget director come and give an update on the budget then. And that's all I have for updates. Thank you.
All right, do we have any members of the public that has a speaker list for this?
Thank you, Chair. Yes, so we have one speaker. Will Lambert please come up to the podium?
Okay. I'll wrap it up. You can best believe I won't be here more than 2 minutes. I just heard my daughter call me and say she's outside waiting on me. So I have people that look out for me because we started this. This is a family-owned business. I'm the founder of it. We started in 1991, and when the millennials found us, it was a pandemic going on. And it's a group of millennials, mainly female, but some males, different nationalities. And they said to me that we were better than DoorDash, and I told them, no, you have it wrong. We were out here before DoorDash was even created, including Uber. Now, recently, the Better Business Bureau endorsed us. They loved the cheesecake. That's a winner right there. The millennials were stunned when I brought that to them. And then they blew me away when they said, hey, we're gonna be at the Super Bowl party before the Super Bowl. And I said, I know you didn't get us in the Super Bowl. I don't care how good the millennials are, you didn't get us in the stadium. They said, no, it's the one before. So depending on how it goes, we have a manufacturer in Huntington Beach that can meet any demand. And they were stunned when I showed them that during the holidays. My role is to stay in this lane. And our granddaughter, who invented this song and video, which I played, she's gone to college, but I saw her during the holidays and she was so excited. I told her to her face, I said, you know, she was worried about TikTok and fame. I said, no, forget that. We're gonna put you in position to be the boss lady. And once you become the boss lady, then don't worry about fame, get to fortune. Fortune lasts longer than fame. So that's it.
Thank you for your comments. That's all the speakers I have.
Thank you, Lambert. Go Pacers. Does any commissioners have any comments on the staff report? Commissioner Vasquez.
Thank you, Vice Chair. I do have comments if we're moving on to the next one, but not on the staff report.
Okay, this has been discussed, and we'll move on to commissioner comments, ideas, and questions. Is there any commissioners that haven't? There we go. Take them.
Thank you very much, Vice Chair. I was not here in January, so I was not able to share our monthly brainstorming for the year, but I would like updates on the 28th and B skate park. I know last time we had budget conversations, it shut down from being open to the public on a regular basis to hopefully a private provider would be found to open it up for fee, but as of right now, it's been closed for quite a long time. I do get the invitations for the occasional Saturday morning or afternoon special event. And I did receive an email for the upcoming youth 3:30 to, I think it's 5 Wednesdays with YA Skate. And I think that's great. There's a provider, but I think the time is really hard right after school for someone to get down there. And for 4 sessions, it was $120. So I do want to know what is the plan, what remodeling has been done as it's been closed for so long, and how can we restaff that in this year's budget if that's possible. That's something I'm looking for in the budget conversations. I would like to know, just to put a pin in, when will we discuss the month of volunteer nominations? Because I would like to know when to have something ready. So if we can just make sure that we get that on the follow-up log. And then our community engagement that we've spoken about working on, or maybe possibly standardizing if City Council does approve our work plan for this year. There's an upcoming meeting in District 6 at Earl Warren Park. And I only found out about this because I saw it on Instagram. I saw a very vague flyer that says, come at this time and day to the park to talk about your park. So I reached out to my council member to figure out what that was about. This park had an arsonist burn down our playground, I believe in July, and so this meeting is intended to ask the community what they would like to see. So I think this is a really good example as to why I want to standardize our engagement with the community. I would like to, maybe we could discuss as a group, what should a flyer say to express to a community member what this meeting is going to be for. What are they showing up? What can they expect when they show up? Because I've gotten a couple of questions about the Instagram post, like what are we talking about at Earl Warren Park? And it's such a very specific thing that is being discussed. I think that can be more clear in the communications with community. I would like to know how is that message being shared, because I would like to be included so that I can share it out as the liaison between the department and our local community members in District 6. I would like to be invited to that meeting. I would like to be given some sort of information that I can share out on my socials, but also that I can post up at the schools. This park is connected to a school. We know the family of Earl Warren who comes out to all of our volunteer events. I would like to invite, Wendy Money, the granddaughter of Earl Warren, to be at this meeting and to share her thoughts about what she would like to see So I think that's a good place for us to start when we're talking about community engagement, when we're having these meetings, who is facilitating them, what questions will be asked, and how can we relay that in advance to the neighborhood associations. Several were invited to this, from what I understand, after calling our neighborhood association president of Colonial Village. She was given a date and time. So how are we making sure that that date and time works for the community before we choose it? I think that's also a good place to start. So those are my thoughts for this month as to how we can start working on community engagement, please.
Thank you, Commissioner. Commissioner King?
All right. Well, I just wanted to invite all the commissioners. My husband and I are hosting a little pizza party for our staff maintenance crew at the parks at Chorley Park on February 13th at 11:30 a.m. So no pressure, but I just wanted to extend the invitation out to all of you. It's just our way of saying thank you to the parks maintenance staff for all the work that they do, in addition to the December recognition event that they get to go to, but we just like to do our own thing. So we're having lunch February 13th. Come by and hang out. 11:30 a.m.
Thank you, Commissioner. Commissioner Laver?
Couple quick notices. First of all, I want to thank Sean. He replaced some items at Southside Park that were broken, and I'm grateful for that. A constituent reached out to Phil's office and mentioned that they wanted to have a dog park at the children's playground by the cemetery. So I sent a letter to everybody. Maybe if you could reply, I think it would need more discussion for sure. It's a very small, tight park. But I don't know if he can do an enhancement form, but maybe Jason could let us know about that maybe. There's a trash dash at McKinley Park with the Midtown Advocates group on February 22nd from 10 to 12. That's probably not going to count as a 916 day, but I think if you guys can put it on your Facebook page, Shannon, or Instagram. Can you do something like that for events like that? Or
We can talk tomorrow.
Okay.
Yeah, we can help.
And then I saw an email from Phil at McClatchy Park on the 7th. There's a Sacktown Mardi Gras. It's starts, I don't see a time on the flyer, but that could be advertised to you. Mardi Gras, have you seen that?
That looks fun.
But I appreciate that, thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. Commissioner Langer?
Thank you. I'll keep it brief. We in District 1 just had a memorial tree planting last Saturday. It went exceptionally well. It was my first event as a commissioner, and it couldn't have been more amazing. It was a great day, very uplifting. It was a memorial tree planting, but it very much felt like a meaningful community day that was really, really rooted in healing and just forward-looking, and it was just incredible. So I wanted to thank city staff that was out there, Dennis, Deanna, Jody, and also Victor, Michael, Frida, and Trayvon, who were exceptional in actually helping with the logistics of the tree plantings. It was really neat to see it all come together. And we do have another one in District 1 on the 14th, Valentine's Day, at Elderberry Park. So more details about that will be forthcoming. But yes, thank you all, and welcome new Commissioner Lang. We would be sitting next to each other if this was alphabetical, so.
All right, and with that said, I think we're moving on to the last item, is public comments matters not on the agenda. Do we have any speaker slips on this? Oh, we have one, okay. We're good? Oh, we're good. And before I adjourn the meeting, you know, I love to be on this leadership board, but I got to give credit when credit's due to Commissioner Uribe, was recently awarded something recently. So I want to thank you and leading the standard in your community just like everyone else does on this board. So it's appreciative with everyone and what you do at home and in your communities. And with that said, this commissioning meeting has been adjourned.